He didn't know the little crowned girl was a royal from the sky. He was walking back from the outer fields, carrying a broken sensor plate under his arm, when he saw the mark in the dirt. A long line cut through the dry soil, as if something heavy had scraped across the ground and stopped suddenly. This was not normal. Nothing fell from the sky on this quiet farming world. Ships stayed high above, and debris burned away before reaching the surface. He followed the line. At the end of it, near a cluster of dead stones, lay a small shape. At first, he thought it was a child from the settlement. That made no sense. Children were never allowed this far from the farms. Then he saw the clothes. They were not torn or burned. They were smooth, clean, and made of a material he did not recognize. It reflected the sunlight like calm water. The girl was small, maybe 8 or 9 years old. Her skin was pale, and her hair was dark and soft, spread across the ground. On her head sat a thin silver crown. It was simple, with no sharp edges or jewels, but it looked important. The man stood still for a long moment. His heart beat faster. His first thought was danger. His second was confusion. Slowly, he knelt beside her. She was breathing. That surprised him. If she had fallen from the sky, she should not be alive. He reached out, careful and slow, and touched her wrist. Her skin was warm. Her pulse was steady. The crown did not move when he touched her. It seemed to fit perfectly, like it belonged there. He looked around. There was no ship, no smoke, no fire. Just the open land and the quiet wind. He made a choice. Lifting her was easier than he expected. She was light, almost too light. As he carried her toward his transport cart, he noticed something else. The dirt did not stick to her clothes. It slid off, as if pushed away by an invisible force. The ride back to the settlement felt longer than usual. When he reached his small home at the edge of the fields, the sun was already sinking. He laid the girl on his bed and stepped back, unsure what to do next. He checked for injuries. There were none. No cuts, no burns, no marks at all. Her eyes opened. They were not the color he expected. They were bright, clear, and held a faint glow, like distant stars. She looked at him without fear. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then she sat up slowly, still watching him, her expression calm but alert. "Where is this place?" she asked. Her voice was soft and clear. She spoke the common trade language perfectly, without any accent. He swallowed. "This is a farm world. A small one. You are outside the settlement." She touched the crown on her head, as if checking it was still there. "I see. You fell," he said. "From the sky, I think." Her eyes shifted slightly, as if she was looking at something far away. "I did not fall," she said. "I was sent." That answer made his chest tighten. "Sent by who?" he asked. She did not answer. Instead, she looked around the room. Her gaze moved over the walls, the tools, the small heater, and the cracked window. She seemed curious, but not impressed. "You are alone," she said.
"Yes," he replied. "I live alone." She nodded once, accepting that as a fact.
"You did not turn me in."
"No," he said.
"I didn't know who to turn you into. That was not the full truth, but it was close enough."
Outside, the evening siren sounded, calling workers back to their homes. The normal sounds of the settlement followed. Doors closed. Engines powered down. Voices faded. The girl stood up from the bed. She did not stumble or show weakness. She walked to the window and looked up at the sky. The stars were beginning to appear. "They will look for me," she said quietly. His hands clenched at his sides. "Who will?" She turned to face him. "Those who do not wish me to live. Those who do not wish me to live." That night, sleep did not come easily. He gave her food. She tasted it carefully, as if learning something new. She did not eat much, but she said she was not hungry. When he offered water, she smiled and said she already had enough. He did not ask how. Later, when the lights were low, she sat on the floor near the window. The crown reflected the starlight. She traced patterns in the air with her fingers. Faint lights followed her movements, appearing and fading like fireflies. He watched from a distance, saying nothing. In the middle of the night, the ground trembled. He woke instantly. The sound was deep and distant, like thunder from the sky. He rushed to the window. Far above the planet, shapes moved between the stars, large ones, too large. Ships. They were not human. The girl was already awake. She stood beside him, her face serious. "They are early," she said. "Who are they?" he whispered. "Hunting fleets," she replied. "They believe this world is weak." The first beam of light touched the upper sky, scanning slowly. It did not reach the ground, but it was close enough to be seen clearly. Fear spread through the settlement. Alarms sounded. Emergency lights turned on. Messages filled the local network, warning people to stay inside. "They will not land yet," the girl said. "They are searching for you?" he asked. She nodded. He felt anger rise inside him, sharp and sudden. "You're just a child." She looked up at him. "I am more than that." The beams moved closer. He thought of the empty tunnels beneath the old farms. They were built long ago, before the colony shrank. No one used them anymore. "Come with me," he said. She followed without question. They moved quickly, avoiding the main paths. The sky above glowed faintly with scanning light. Every step felt like a risk. When they reached the tunnel entrance, he pulled open the rusted door. Darkness swallowed them. He sealed it behind them. The tunnels were cold and silent. He activated a small lamp. They walked until the surface sounds faded. Only then did he stop. "You said you were sent," he said. "Why here?" She looked at him for a long time before answering. "Because humans do not bow easily." He let out a short breath. "That's a strange reason to hide on a farm world." She smiled faintly. "It is the right one." Far above them, the hunters continued their search, unaware that on a quiet human world, a mistake had already been made. The tunnels were older than anyone in the settlement could remember. They twisted under the cracked plains, built by the first colonists who had hoped to hide from storms and predators. Now, they offered more than shelter from dust or wind. They offered safety from hunters from the sky. The man carried a small lantern in one hand and guided the girl carefully. She walked silently beside him, her crown gleaming faintly in the lamp's soft light. She seemed calm, almost like she had been through this before, though he knew she was just a child. "Are we safe here?" he asked. "For now," she replied. Her voice was steady, but her eyes betrayed concern. "They can scan far, but these walls hide more than metal can detect." He looked around. The walls were rough, cold stone, layered with dust and spider webs. Old markings covered some sections, faded shapes that no one could read now. He wondered if these tunnels had secrets, traps, or tools left behind. Perhaps that was why she had brought him here. "They are looking for you," he said.
I saw the ships. They're huge.
They are not the first, she said, her gaze distant. They will not be the last. Those who hunt me believe the sky gives them power, but they do not know humans. He stopped. The words were strange. Humans? What did she mean? He had never seen anyone talk about humans with that kind of pride. Usually, the settlers complained about other worlds, alien rules, taxes, or weather, but she said humans with reverence, almost like they were more than just survivors. "Who are you?" he asked again. "I still don't understand. You are not from here. That much I know. But," he hesitated, unsure how to finish. "I am from the sky," she said simply. "My people rule there. I carry the crown for them. That is why they come." He almost laughed, but the tremor in his voice stayed. "A crown? For real? You expect me to believe a girl with a small silver band is royalty?" She did not smile. She lifted her hand, and a faint light appeared above the crown. It glowed, soft and steady, enough to make him blink. "It is not just a crown," she said. "It is a key. It calls my people. It protects me." He took a step back. The tunnel walls flickered slightly in response, as if the light touched them in a way that made them hum. He could not explain it. Nothing in this world should have done that. "Then why are they hunting you?" he asked. "They believe a crown is only a symbol," she said. "They do not know the mind behind it. They want control, and they fear my people may never bow." The lantern light swung between them as he moved deeper into the tunnels. His legs were stiff, his breath coming faster. Every sound above, the faint hum of engines, the glint of light in the sky, made him tense. The settlements had no defense against fleets from above. Humans survived because most of the time, space did not notice them. "But why here?" he said. "Why send you to a place so small, so weak?" Her eyes softened. "Because humans do not bow easily."
"No one shall nod."
"Their courage is unusual. They survive. They resist. They protect what they care for, no matter the cost."
That is why I am here. That is why I was sent.
He looked at her, this small girl with a crown, speaking about courage and resistance like she had studied them all her life. He wondered how she could say such things and yet look no older than the children who played near the wells. A sound made him stop. It was faint, a vibration beneath the stone floor. He knelt, pressed his ear to the ground. A soft hum, rhythmic, mechanical, not natural. "They are close," she said. Her voice did not rise, but he heard the edge of urgency. "They search from above. They will not enter the tunnels lightly, but they can sense patterns of life." He shivered. "Wow. Wow. What do they want from you?" "They want control. They want my crown. They believe that if they have it, they have power over the sky." The thought made his stomach tighten. The crown on her head was small, fragile, almost childlike, and yet the weight it carried seemed immense. They reached a wider chamber. Old mining equipment lay scattered, rusted beyond repair. Some barrels held dust and strange chemicals. Water dripped from the ceiling. The girl walked to the center and placed her hands lightly on the ground. Light appeared again, this time in a pattern. It hovered in the air, forming small shapes he could not recognize. "What is that?" he asked, astonished. "A map," she said. "A warning." The shapes shifted, glowing faintly, showing lines and points. He could make no sense of them. "Is it Dangerous? It tells who comes, she said. It tells who watches. They are clever, but they are not human. A low sound rumbled above the ground. The metal doors at the tunnel entrance vibrated. His heart jumped. The light from her crown pulsed. She did not panic. "They sense us," she said. "They are searching." He ran to block the entrance with old beams he had pulled from storage. She stayed calm, tracing the glowing map with her fingers. Slowly, he realized she was reading it like a person reading a book. Hours passed. The tunnels were silent except for the occasional distant vibration above. He tried to eat, tried to drink water, but his mind could not rest. He kept glancing at the girl. She did not eat, did not complain, did not sleep. Only the crown pulsed softly, keeping time with the vibrations above. He wondered if the crown was alive. He wondered if she was alive in the way humans are. Later he spoke again. "If they find us, what happens? They will take me," she said. "And if they take me? Humans may be next. They fear what humans can do. That is why I am here." He swallowed hard. "Humans?"
You are sending warning? Using me? I am using everyone who protects courage, she said.
"That is not the same as sending warning. You choose."
You chose by not giving me up. Her words pressed against him like a weight.
He wanted to argue, to refuse, but he could not. There was truth in her tone he could not deny. A sound echoed in the distance. It was soft at first, then louder. Metallic clinks, heavy and precise. The hunters had landed on the surface. They were moving slowly, searching for the tunnel entrances. He realized now how fragile their safety was. One wrong step, one careless glance from the sky, and they could be discovered. He turned to her. "Can you fight them?" "I do not fight like humans," she said. "But I can protect. The crown can guide." He did not understand fully, but he did not need to. Her calm made him steady. Her confidence gave him courage. He had always survived because he knew the land, knew the tools, knew the patterns. Now he realized he would have to survive not just for himself, but for her. The vibrations above grew closer. He worked quietly, reinforcing old tunnel walls, dragging metal scraps, patching old doors. She traced patterns of light across the walls, marking where it was safe, where it was dangerous. By the time the first full beams of light scanned the tunnels, they were hidden. The machines above could sense nothing. Only a faint hum echoed as they moved past, searching for life that was not there. The man finally allowed himself to breathe. The girl looked at him, faint smile on her lips. "You are brave," she said.
No, he said, I am careful. Now.
"That is different. Bravery is careful," she replied. He looked at her and saw it clearly. She was more than a child. She was a ruler, even here. She carried her people in her heart. She carried the sky on her shoulders, and he was just a man who lived on dirt and stone. The night passed slowly. They shared silence, broken only by the distant rumble above. He realized he had learned something he could not unlearn. Humans could resist, survive, and protect, even when the universe seemed to watch and threaten. When morning came, the light from the sun barely reached the floor of the tunnel. But they did not leave. The girl was still alert, still watching the patterns of light. The man sat beside her, thinking about what would happen next. "They will not give up," she said. "They never do. But humans remember. They fight in ways that even the sky does not expect.
He nodded slowly. Then we will wait, and we will fight if we must.
The girl's crown glowed faintly in the dim morning light. It seemed to hum with power, quiet but unmistakable. He had no idea how it worked, but he knew it was not just decoration. Above them, the sky buzzed with ships. Below them, the tunnels held the quiet heartbeat of human courage, and in the middle of it, the little crowned girl waited, knowing her fate was tied to theirs in ways no one yet understood. The tunnels had quieted. Above, the alien ships moved in patterns, scanning and searching, but they did not know the girl was below. The man and the child sat together, the faint light of her crown illuminating the walls. She traced lines in the air, creating symbols that floated for a moment before fading. "You can control it?" he asked quietly, still amazed by the way the lights followed her movements. "I am learning," she said. Her voice was calm, but there was determination in it. "The crown is not just a symbol. It is a connection. It shows me patterns, people, even fleets above." He watched her fingers move, weaving small arcs of light that hovered in the air. Somehow, the crown amplified her awareness. The man realized she could see more than he ever could. The stars above, the ships in orbit, even the humans far away. They were all part of her map. "You are not like anyone I have met," he said. "I am not meant to be met," she replied. "I am meant to lead." He looked at her crown, small and delicate, yet glowing with a strange power. The realization struck him. She was royalty, but not the kind humans knew from old stories. She was something more, something powerful and dangerous. "Your people are coming for you," he said. "They won't stop until they find you." "They believe they can take me," she said. "But they do not understand humans. You will not bow, and for that reason you may survive when others would not." The man swallowed hard. He did not feel heroic. He felt terrified. Every vibration in the tunnels, every hum from above, reminded him that they were being hunted, and yet he could not leave her. She had placed trust in him, even though he was just a farmer, just a man who knew how to read soil and repair machines. He leaned back against the cold stone wall. "I do not even know your name. Name is not important," she said. "Crown is important. Duty is important." He stared at her. "You are a child, and yet you speak as if you are older than the stars." "I am older than many think," she said. "I have not lived long in time, but I have lived far in responsibility." He could not argue with that. Her calm made him feel both awe and fear. How could someone so young carry such weight? The ground shook slightly beneath them. A low hum ran through the walls. He turned toward the sound, and the girl's eyes narrowed. "They are near," she whispered. "They won't find us here," he said, trying to sound sure, though his stomach twisted.
"They may not," she said, "but they will scan.
They will sense life. We must be ready." He nodded. His mind raced. He thought of the tunnels above, the beams he had moved to block entrances, the old mechanisms left behind by colonists who had long vanished. Could they fight back if necessary? "I will help," he said.
"Tell me what to do." She looked at him.
"You already have helped. You protected me. That is enough for now." But she did not relax. She walked to a corner of the tunnel and pressed her hand against the wall. The faint glow of her crown spread across the stone, forming lines that mapped the tunnels in light. He watched as points flickered, some green, some red, some yellow.
"What does it mean?" he asked. "Green is safe."
"Red is danger. Yellow is caution. They move where humans are weak. They will try to trick us." He nodded slowly. Somehow, the crown's light was teaching him, teaching them both. Hours passed in silence, broken only by the distant vibrations from above. The man could not sleep. He tried to rest his mind, tried to convince himself the tunnels would keep them safe, but the fear never went away. He glanced at the girl. She did not seem tired. She traced lines in the air, moving with precision, her small fingers creating glowing patterns that shifted and changed. "They are planning," she said. "How do you know?" he asked. "Because they always plan before they strike," she said. "They are clever, but they forget one thing. Humans." "What do you mean?" "They do not understand our kind," she said. "Your kind, humans. You resist. You survive.
You adapt. That is why they fear you more than you know."
I need your kind to survive here with me." Her words sank deep. She did not just speak of herself. She spoke of him, of all humans, as if their courage and stubbornness mattered in ways that stretched across the galaxy. He felt pride mixed with fear. He had never thought of humans as powerful, only surviving, maybe enduring. But she spoke of humans as if they were more than that. The walls trembled again. This time, the vibration was stronger. Dust fell from the ceiling. The faint light from the crown pulsed faster. "They are close," she said. "Prepare." He moved to the old doors at the tunnel entrance. The beams were in place, but he added more, stacking old crates and metal scraps. He checked each corner, each dark space. Every sense was alert. "You do not fear them?" he asked. "I respect them," she said, "but I do not fear. Fear is for those who cannot lead. I lead. I survive, and I protect."
He realized something then. She was not just royalty.
She was a commander even as a child, and he was the protector, the shield she had chosen. The vibration became a rhythm. Above, the hunters moved in precise steps, scanning, listening. The man felt each vibration like a warning pulse. He tightened his grip on a piece of metal, ready for the worst. "Do they know I am here?" the girl asked. "They may sense life," he said. "They will find us if I make a mistake," she said. "You won't," he said firmly. "We will not let them." Her crown glowed brighter, small beams of light spreading along the tunnel walls. They formed symbols he could not understand, but they seemed to protect. Somehow, the light made the vibrations above less threatening, as if it created a shield. Hours passed. Slowly, the vibrations faded. The hunters moved past, searching for life they could not detect. The man exhaled. For now, they were safe. But the girl did not relax. She walked to a corner and sat, still tracing glowing patterns in the air. Her fingers moved with precision, her face calm but focused. "Why are you here?" he asked again. "Because the sky sent me," she said. "Because humans are strong. Because courage matters more than numbers. And because they must remember that even in the small places, heroes live." He stared at her. "You talk like a story, like old legends. You sound like you believe in us more than we believe in ourselves." "I see what you are," she said softly. "Even when you doubt it." He felt a strange warmth. Her words were small, but they held weight. He realized she was teaching him as much as the crown taught her. She was showing him the truth humans often forgot, that courage, resilience, and stubbornness were powers stronger than any machine or weapon. Above them, the ships finally left, moving toward the horizon. The vibrations stopped. Silence returned to the tunnels. He sank to the floor beside her. "We survived," he said, unsure if he felt relief or exhaustion. "We did," she replied. "But this is only the beginning." He looked at her crown, glowing faintly in the dim tunnel light. He understood now that the crown was not just a symbol of royalty. It was a tool, a shield, and a warning. It carried the weight of the sky, the responsibility of leadership, and the hope of survival. "Will they come back?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "They will not stop until they believe the crown is theirs. But they will not win."
Not here. Not while humans remember how to fight.
He felt a surge of determination. He had lived a quiet life, tending soil and repairing machines. But now he understood something new. He had a purpose beyond survival. He had to protect her. He had to protect courage. The girl looked at him, her eyes reflecting the dim light. "You are brave," she said again. "No," he said. "I am human." She smiled faintly.
Bravery is human.
And in that quiet tunnel, with dust settling around them and faint lights glowing from her crown, they waited. The hunter ships might return. The danger might rise again. But for now, humans had survived, and a little crowned girl from the sky had found allies in the people of this quiet world. Above, the sky remained vast and indifferent. Below, the tunnels held courage and hope. And between them, a small girl waited, teaching him the meaning of strength and leadership in ways he could not have imagined. The day would come when the hunters returned. He knew it, but he also knew that humans, stubborn and unyielding, would be ready, and he would not let her face the sky alone. The crown pulsed gently. The light traced the tunnel walls, marking safety, danger, and the path forward. The man realized something powerful. They were no longer just hiding. They were preparing. And when the sky returned, humans would fight. The air above the settlement shimmered faintly as the first alien ships returned. Unlike before, they did not just scan. They moved slowly, deliberately, lowering into the thin atmosphere, their shadows stretching across the farms. The man and the girl waited in the tunnels, listening to the faint vibrations through the stone beneath their feet.
They are coming,
the girl said, her voice calm but sharp. Her crown glowed softly, illuminating the symbols she traced in the air. Each line seemed to move with a purpose, a silent warning. They believe the tunnels hide only humans. They will be surprised. He tightened his grip on an old metal pipe he had salvaged. It was no weapon, just a tool, but he would use it if he had to. The settlements had no real defenses against ships from above. This was their world, and yet today it could be torn apart in minutes. "They are clever," he said.
They are...
"But they do not know us, humans," she corrected. "You are not just clever. You endure. You fight. That is why I am here. That is why I trusted you." He looked at her small face, pale under the dim crown light, and felt a surge of determination. She was more than a child. She was a leader, and now he understood he was her shield. The ground trembled as the ships landed outside. The vibrations grew stronger. Dust fell from the ceiling of the tunnels. Outside, he could hear the hiss of alien engines and the clank of heavy metal on metal. They were searching systematically, spreading out in a pattern he could almost follow in his mind. "They will try to trick us," the girl whispered. "They will send signals, lights, even sounds to lure humans out. They want me, but they do not know what humans can do." He nodded, moving silently through the tunnels. He had prepared small traps from old mining equipment, placing loose stones and wires to make noise or delay pursuers. It was crude, but it might buy them time. The girl followed, her crown tracing a soft glow over the walls, highlighting the safest paths. "They think fear controls humans," she said. "It does not. Courage does." Hours passed. The man moved back and forth, checking barricades, listening to vibrations, his ears straining for the slightest sound. The girl remained in the center of the tunnels, tracing glowing lines that formed strange patterns. Somehow, these patterns seemed to interact with the vibrations, reducing them, confusing the sensors above.
They sense the crown.
She said suddenly, "They will focus on it. You must be careful." "I am always careful," he said. "I have to be. You are here." Her eyes flicked to him, a faint smile touching her lips. "You protect humans? Humans protect courage. You are part of this now." The vibrations shifted. A low hum ran through the walls. The hunters had found the entrance. The man froze, listening. Outside, he could hear the hiss of airlocks, the clank of heavy boots, and the faint whir of scanning devices. "They are here," he whispered. The girl did not panic. She lifted her hand, and the crown glowed brighter. Faint lights spread along the tunnel walls, forming moving patterns. They twisted and turned, confusing the vibrations, sending false signals into the tunnels. "They will hesitate," she said. "Now is the moment." The man nodded. He moved toward the first entrance, ready to delay them. He kicked loose stones, sending them rolling down small passageways. Wires snapped, creating sharp noises. The aliens above reacted, pausing, scanning, trying to understand. "They do not understand humans," he muttered. "They never do," she said. "We adapt. We survive. We fight." The first alien figure stepped into the tunnel. Its body was metallic, covered in strange armor. Its movements were precise, deliberate, almost machine-like. The man swung the metal pipe, striking at the legs. The alien staggered slightly, an alarm sounding in the distance. The girl traced patterns in the air. Light flashed from her crown, hitting the walls and the alien's sensors. The machine paused, confused. The man felt a strange thrill. Somehow, she controlled more than just light. She controlled the battlefield itself. More aliens entered. He swung, ducked, and ran, leading them into traps he had set hours before. Loose stones rolled, wires snapped, and small explosions of dust and chemicals delayed them. Each step was tense, dangerous, but humans survived by improvising, by using what they had. The girl remained at the center, her crown glowing steadily. She spoke softly, but the words carried power. "Humans fight with courage. They do not bow. They do not break. You cannot control them." The aliens hesitated. Machines above tried to analyze the patterns of light, the shifting vibrations, but they could not understand. Humans were unpredictable, stubborn, and dangerous in ways the sky could not measure. The man glanced at her, awe and fear mixing in his chest. She was small, but she radiated authority. Every movement, every pattern of light, every word, shaped the battle. Ah! She was more than royalty. She was a commander. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time seemed to stretch in the tunnels. The aliens were clever, precise, but humans had patience, endurance, and courage. He realized that this fight was not just survival. It was a lesson, a display of human willpower against superior technology. The ground trembled violently. One of the alien machines smashed against a tunnel wall, metal screeching. Dust filled the air. The man stumbled but kept moving. The girl remained calm, her crown pulsing, light forming shapes that guided him through the chaos. "They believe fear controls humans," she said again. "It does not. Not. Courage does." One by one, the aliens were delayed, confused, or stopped by traps and the unpredictable movements of humans. The girl's crown created illusions, patterns of light that misled them, making the tunnels seem longer, the passages twisted. The man realized they were being her army, though she was just a child. By the time the ships above realized the humans were not fleeing but fighting strategically, it was too late. They had underestimated humans. They had underestimated courage. The man felt exhaustion creeping in, but he did not stop. Each step, each strike of the pipe, each improvisation with stones and old machinery kept them alive. He glanced at the girl. She was tired, but her focus never wavered. She led without speaking commands, guiding him with light, presence, and courage. Finally, the vibrations above began to fade. The aliens retreated, unable to navigate the unpredictable human defense. The machines above moved back to orbit, scanning for life that had adapted beyond their understanding. The man collapsed against a wall, breathing heavily. He could feel bruises forming, his muscles aching. But he was alive. And so was she. The girl approached him. Her crown glowed softly, pulsating like a heartbeat. "You did well," she said. "We survived," he said, swallowing hard. "But they will come back." "They will," she admitted. "But they will not win. Not if humans remember. Not if they respect courage." He looked at her, small and pale, glowing faintly in the tunnel's dim light. She was royalty, yes, but more than that. She carried authority, wisdom, and the strange power of survival. Somehow, she had guided them through a battle they had no right to win. Outside, the dust settled. The settlement was untouched because humans had used what they had: cunning, courage, and the leadership of a small, crowned girl. The man realized something he had never felt before. He was no longer just a survivor. He was a protector. And humans, small and fragile though they seemed, were more dangerous than the sky could measure. The girl traced one final line in the air. It glowed, marking the tunnels, the safety zones, and the places of danger. "They will return," she said. "But we will be ready." He nodded slowly. "We will be ready." Above, the alien ships disappeared into the distance, moving faster now. They would return with more numbers, more weapons, more knowledge. But humans had survived. They had resisted, and they had learned that courage, unpredictability, and the willingness to fight mattered more than the largest machines in the sky. The girl looked at him. "Humans are not weak," she said softly. "No," he said, "we are not." The tunnels were quiet again, but the calm felt fragile. They had won the day, but the war was far from over. Outside, the stars glimmered, vast and indifferent. Inside, humans had defended life, courage, and hope, and the little crowned girl from the sky had shown them how to fight in ways they never imagined. For the first time, he understood what she had said before. Humans did not bow. Humans survived. Humans fought. And today, humans had changed the sky's understanding forever. The crown pulsed softly, as if agreeing. They were not just hiding anymore. They were preparing. The next wave would come. But humans would be ready. The sky above the settlement burned with light. Alien ships, larger and more numerous than before, descended slowly. Their shadows stretched across the farms and tunnels below, a reminder that this time the fight could not be avoided. The man and the girl moved through the tunnels, their footsteps quiet but purposeful. The crown on her head pulsed softly, glowing brighter with each step, casting moving shadows that seemed to guide them.
"They are stronger this time," she said, her voice calm but firm.
"They have learned from the last attack." "I see that," the man said, gripping a metal pipe he had prepared. "They are coming in full force. But we survived before. We can survive again." "You are correct," she said. "But this time, we do not just survive. We fight." She traced lines in the air with her small fingers. Light spread across the walls of the tunnels, forming glowing symbols that twisted and shifted, forming a map of the surface, the ships, and the safest paths. The man followed her guidance carefully, realizing for the first time that she could see more than he ever could. The crown was not just decoration. It was a tool, a weapon, a guide. Above, the alien ships began lowering smaller attack units. They were precise, moving with calculated speed. The vibrations traveled through the tunnel floor, warning them of the approach. The man and the girl reached a chamber filled with old machinery and supplies. He began setting traps, stacking metal scraps, tying wires to loose rocks, and arranging chemicals that could create smoke and noise. "You know what to do," she said softly. "I will guide you. Focus on courage." He nodded, realizing the truth in her words. Humans had survived not because of machines or weapons, but because of courage, cunning, and determination. And now, that courage was amplified by the girl with the crown, whose every gesture shaped the battlefield. The first units entered the tunnels. Their movements were precise, their armor clanking against the stone. The man swung the metal pipe at one of them, striking a joint in its armor. Sparks flew. Another machine stumbled, its sensors overwhelmed by the crown's light. "They cannot control this place," the girl said.
It is human, and humans fight differently.
More units came, moving carefully through the tunnels. The man led them into traps he had prepared. Loose rocks tumbled, wires snapped, and small chemical reactions created smoke and confusion. The aliens hesitated, trying to recalibrate, but the tunnels were unpredictable, chaotic in ways that humans excelled at. The girl stayed at the center, her crown glowing steadily. She traced lines in the air that formed moving patterns of light, confusing the sensors of the alien machines. Each pattern redirected vibrations, made false signals, and guided the man and the few remaining humans who had joined him. "They believe fear controls humans," she said again. "It does not. Courage does." The man nodded, feeling a surge of energy. Every movement, every strike, every trap delayed the aliens. Humans had no chance against the sky on paper, but in tunnels in their own world, they were deadly. The girl's crown amplified their strength, but the humans themselves were the key. Hours passed. The tunnels echoed with clanging metal, sharp hisses, and the faint hum of alien sensors. The man felt exhaustion creeping in, muscles burning, lungs heavy, but he kept moving. The girl never stopped. Her focus was unwavering. She directed, guided, and protected with every flick of her fingers, every line of light.
They underestimate humans, she said softly. They think only numbers matter.
But humans have endurance, patience, and ingenuity. They resist in ways machines cannot calculate. Another unit moved closer. The man swung the pipe, striking a weak joint. Sparks flew. The aliens staggered. Above, a ship's sensor scanned the tunnels, but the crown's light created illusions, patterns that shifted too quickly for the machines to follow. They cannot win here, the girl said. Not in this place. The man felt a strange sense of pride. Humans were fragile, yes, but they were clever, stubborn, and unpredictable. That unpredictability, combined with courage, was something the aliens could never fully understand. And the girl, small and pale, carried the leadership and vision to make humans unstoppable in their own world. The battle continued. The aliens tried to adapt, sending more units, more sensors, more machines. But the humans, guided by the girl's crown, remained one step ahead. They moved silently, struck with precision, and created confusion where there should have been order. One of the larger units smashed into a tunnel wall, dust falling around it. The man lunged forward, striking with the metal pipe, while the girl's crown cast a blinding light that disoriented the alien senses. Sparks flew, metal screeched, and the machine stumbled, retreating as it could not calculate the chaos around it. They believe control is power, she said. But courage is stronger than control. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time had lost meaning in the tunnels. The vibrations above became weaker. The larger ships eventually moved back, sensing they had lost their advantage. The humans had survived, not because they had the strongest weapons, but because they had courage, cunning, and a small crowned girl who guided them like a commander. The man collapsed against a wall, breathing heavily. His muscles ached, his body bruised, but he was alive. The girl approached, her crown glowing softly, pulsating like a heartbeat. "You did well," she said. "We survived," he said, swallowing hard. "But they will come back, stronger, more prepared. But, they will return," she admitted. "But humans will be ready. And this time, they will not just survive. They will fight." He looked at her, small and pale, glowing faintly in the tunnel's dim light. She was royalty, yes, but more than that. She carried authority, wisdom, and the strange power of survival. Somehow, she had guided them through a battle they had no right to win. Outside, the dust settled. The settlement remained untouched because humans had used what they had: courage, ingenuity, and leadership. The man realized something he had never felt before. He was no longer just a survivor. He was a protector. And humans, small and fragile though they seemed, were more dangerous than the sky could measure. The girl traced one final line in the air. It glowed, marking the tunnels, the safety zones, and the paths forward. "They will return," she said, "but we will be ready." He nodded slowly. "We will be ready." Above, the alien ships disappeared into the distance, moving faster now, regrouping for another attack. But humans had survived. They had resisted, and they had learned that courage, unpredictability, and the willingness to fight mattered more than the largest fleets in the sky. The girl looked at him. "Humans are not weak," she said softly. "No," he said, "we are not." The tunnels were quiet again, but the calm felt fragile. They had won the day, but the war was far from over. Outside, the stars glimmered vast and indifferent. Inside, humans had defended life, courage, and hope. and the little crowned girl from the sky had shown them how to fight in ways they never imagined. For the first time he understood what she had said before. Humans did not bow. Humans survived. Humans fought. And today, humans had changed the sky's understanding forever. The crown pulsed softly as if agreeing. They were no longer hiding. They were preparing. The next wave would come. But humans would be ready. The sky burned with light once more. But this time, it was different. Hundreds of alien ships moved through the atmosphere, larger and faster than before. They had learned from their previous failures. They were determined. They were organized. But below, in the tunnels and across the settlement, humans were ready. The man and the little crowned girl stood at the heart of the tunnels. She traced glowing lines in the air with her small fingers, and the crown on her head pulsed with steady light. Each pulse illuminated walls marking traps, safe paths, and warning zones. Humans had moved into position, armed with tools, old mining equipment, and whatever they could improvise. "They will come stronger than ever," she said. "But courage is stronger than numbers." "I hope you are right," he said, gripping a pipe. "They will not stop until they take you." "They will not take me," she replied.
"Not here. Not while humans remember."
The first alien ships pierced the clouds, landing with a sound like thunder. Smaller units rushed toward the tunnels. The vibrations shook the ground. Dust fell from the ceilings, but humans did not flee. They had prepared. Traps set the night before erupted. Stones tumbled, wires snapped, smoke filled narrow passages. The aliens staggered, confused by the unexpected resistance. The man swung his pipe at one unit, striking a joint in its armor. Sparks flew. Others stumbled into hidden pitfalls. The tunnels became a maze of controlled chaos, each movement precise and deadly. The girl's crown glowed brighter. Patterns of light twisted and shifted through the tunnels, confusing sensors, hiding humans, guiding them, and striking fear into the machines. The man watched, realizing that the small girl, barely a child, now controlled the battlefield. "They underestimate us," she said. "They think control is enough. They are wrong. Humans adapt." More units entered. The tunnels echoed with clanking metal, hissing energy, and the thrum of alien engines. But humans had learned. They moved through shadows, striking with precision, confusing the machines, delaying every step. Even as exhaustion set in, determination fueled them. The girl traced lines across the walls and air. Light formed symbols that seemed alive, pulsating with every movement of the invaders. The machines faltered, their sensors disrupted, their coordination failing. The man realized the crown was more than a guide. It was a weapon, a shield, and a symbol of leadership that rallied humans to fight beyond their limits. "They believe fear controls humans," she whispered again. "It does not. Courage does." Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time was meaningless in the chaos of tunnels and lights. Humans fought as one, guided by instinct, experience, and the small crowned girl who commanded with vision and authority. Every strike, every trap, every tactic delayed the enemy. Finally, one of the larger alien units fell, toppling against a tunnel wall. Sparks flew. Dust filled the air. The man lunged forward, striking the machine while the crown's light blinded its sensors. Another unit tried to enter, only to be caught in a pit trap. Chaos spread, the aliens' numbers meaningless in the unpredictable tunnels. "They do not understand humans," the girl said. "Humans survive. Humans resist. The man nodded, muscles aching, body bruised. Yet he continued. He realized something he had not known before. Survival was not enough. Humans had learned to fight strategically, to use ingenuity and courage to change the outcome. The small crowned girl had taught them that. The alien ships above began retreating. They realized the humans were not just surviving, they were fighting back, guided by courage and leadership. The man felt a thrill. Humans had done the impossible, defending themselves against forces that should have destroyed them. The girl's crown pulsed one final time, brighter than ever. She raised her hands, and the light spread, reaching out to the ships above. The aliens hesitated, then retreated, unable to match the combination of courage, ingenuity, and leadership that humans had displayed. Silence fell. The tunnels were quiet. Dust settled. The man sank to the floor, exhausted but alive. He looked at the girl, who stood small but proud, the crown glowing softly. "You did well," she said.
"We survived," he said, swallowing hard. "But they will return." "They may," she admitted.
"But humans will be ready, and this time we will not just survive. We will defend. We will fight. And they will remember, humans are not weak." The man realized she was right. Humans had changed the enemy's perception. They had shown that courage, strategy, and determination could turn the tide against even the most advanced forces. They were no longer simply hiding. They were protectors, warriors, and survivors. Outside, the alien ships disappeared into the distance, retreating into orbit, their sensors and strategies unable to predict the unpredictable humans. The settlement remained untouched, a testament to endurance, courage, and leadership. The girl traced one final pattern in the air, and the crown pulsed as if acknowledging the humans' victory. "They will return," she said softly. "But next time, they will think twice." The man nodded. "We will be ready." She smiled faintly, small but commanding. "Humans do not bow. Humans endure. Humans fight. Remember that. Never forget." He looked at her, understanding fully now what she had meant from the beginning. She was more than a child. She was a royal from the sky, yes, but she was also a leader, a guide, and a symbol of hope. And humans, small and fragile as they seemed, had proved that courage and determination mattered more than machines, numbers, or fear. Above, the stars gleamed indifferent and vast, but below, humans had earned respect. They had survived. They had resisted. And they had fought with courage that even the sky could not ignore. The tunnels were quiet, but the victory felt alive. Humans had changed the game. The crown pulsed softly on the girl's head, glowing like a heartbeat of hope. The man realized they had not just survived the battle, they had earned a place in the galaxy. And when the sky returned with stronger forces, humans would be ready. The little crowned girl looked at him one last time. "We are not weak," she said. "No," he said firmly. "We are not?" The tunnels, once dark and silent, now held a new kind of light. A light of courage, endurance, and hope. And the sky above would never forget it. Humans had remembered who they were. And the galaxy had learned that humans were not to be underestimated.